I do have skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
The average Aucklander spends about 2 weeks a year in traffic jams.
Yes, but what happens when you're falsely accused and the authorities won't listen?
Paul Martin took the T3 lane and wound up in another jam.
And just trying to get somebody to listen to me.
He's facing a hefty fine.
If I was liable for it, I'd just pay it.
It's $170, but it's also a principle at stake.
I don't want to pay it because I don't, I'm not liable for it. I've had there's 3 people in the vehicle. Do they not include children as people?
Paul's problem is that he says young Lily and Archie were in the back. From the roadside, it looks like Paul all alone, which is why the guy from Auckland Transport clocked him. When the fine arrived, Paul thought a phone call to Auckland Transport would fix it. More calls followed. He sent back their photos with his explanation. Then Paul offered to go to court to explain himself, but somehow Auckland Transport skipped that step and turned up the heat.
They give you a bit of empathy and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, they just keep sending you reminder notices. And it wasn't until I started getting them from Baycorp threatening that I thought, oh, what's going on here?
Paul put Baycorp straight, and Auckland Transport flipped it to the Ministry of Justice for enforcement proceedings.
You haven't been able to show that I don't have 3 people in the vehicle, and just really want somebody to have a look at it and come back to me.
Auckland Transport turned down his appeal, telling Paul he should have asked to go to court sooner, which he had, but that hadn't happened.
You don't seem to get a chance to actually go forward and explain what's happened.
The main driver, of course, for all of this is to lower congestion on our network and for the T3, T2 lanes and bus lanes to be used as they're designed to be used.
This is John. He runs the part of Auckland Transport that controls who gets fined and how. Does the driver have to prove that there were 3 people in the car?
We have to prove that they didn't have 3 people in the car.
Which for Paul is good news, because
the ticket has been waived. We re-reviewed the footage. I've had a look at it as well. He absolutely, resolutely says his children were in the car. We accept his word. And the infringement's been waived.
he admits there was also an issue with how Auckland Transport dealt with Paul's request to go to court. Which of course won't be necessary now.
Good result, good barbecuing, and well done to Auckland Transport for fronting up.
This road here in particular, 70% of the people that travel down this road are using mass transit, so they're using either public transport or they're carpooling.
In November, they trialled more enforcement officers.
And we close to doubled the number of people that were infringing.
1 month, 743 fines. That's more than $100,000, but already it's back to being a backlog. But if fines don't work, how do you keep Auckland moving?
Sorry.
On fire, 'cause they lit the spark.